Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Tracie Reynolds, and welcome to the Storm Center edition of Week in Review. This week we will tell you about the shakeup heard around the county and how to be ready for hurricanes and other natural disasters. Making headlines around the county, many of us experienced something for the first time in our lives this week, as what is to believed the strongest earthquake ever to hit Maryland rumbled much of the East Coast. The quake registered 5.9 on the Richter scale, which is much bigger than last summer's 3.6 version centered in Rockville. People barely felt that one. This one was very different. People in office buildings reported a swaying feeling, and household items fell from the shelves of supermarkets. County office buildings and schools were evacuated. Cell phones didn't work for a good half hour because of all the activity. And the good news is that there were no major injuries or damage reported. County Executive Leopold said of the event, "We were relieved that no one was hurt in this unusual event. The important thing was that our public safety officials followed long-developed plans and we were able to communicate effectively with the public." So far, 4 aftershocks have been reported, although they were barely felt, if at all.
Well, that was the dress rehearsal, folks, because we're in the Storm Center and it's hurricane season. And hurricane season has sure started off with a bang this year. We want to make sure that you have all the information you need to be prepared. Here's the first thing you should do. If you have Facebook, type Arundel, O-E-M, in your search box and like the Office of Emergency Management page. That will get you set up for regular updates on your mobile phone. Earlier today, we left the Storm Center to enter the Emergency Operations Center, where the county coordinates its responses with the state and federal authorities. We talked to Captain Hodge about how the county gets ready. As we've been talking about all episode, the main focus here in Anne Arundel County is focusing on the impending hurricane that's coming our way. We're joined today with Captain Erik Hodge, Director of the Emergency Operations Center here. Captain Hodge, your folks have done a lot of work so far to prepare for this storm. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've undertaken to keep the county residents safe?
Certainly. As you know, the storm track is changing, and it has actually moved west, which increases the rainfall amounts, the wind speeds that the county is going to see. So essentially what we've done is we're coordinating the county's efforts, every agency that would be involved in any kind of response to the hurricane, including OEM, county fire, county police, DPW, facilities management. And essentially we're doing some pre-planning or staging for certain events, and one of those is for shelter operations. Tentatively, we're looking at possibly opening a shelter Saturday afternoon, and so in preparation for that, we've moved a generator down to Annapolis High School. We have several trucks loaded up with cots and blankets and water in preparation to open the shelter. We're not going to stage them at the school, just in the event that the school gets hit by the hurricane. We don't want to have all our cots in there. So they'll be standing by. Once we have a firm grasp on the track, we'll move them into Annapolis High School, or we'll move them to another high school. One of the other things we're looking at is standing up the EOC. Obviously, that's the Emergency Operations Center. Tentatively, we're looking at opening that up Saturday afternoon. That will run probably 12-hour shifts for at least 24 hours, if not more. Police and fire are upstaffing. DPW is upstaffing, and we're getting all kinds of emergency contracts in place with our purchasing division. We're essentially creating a IAP, which is an incident action plan for the whole county. And what that is it's a response plan, and it's going to include every agency's response plans and their operations plans, so that a single person, take you for example, can log in from home into our web EOC, which is up behind us, and see what the fire department is doing at any given time, what DPW is doing, what incidents we have going on, whether it be flooding in Shadyside or downed roads or closed roads, things like that. This is a big storm, and it could create a lot of damage. So we want to be prepared. Obviously, we can't change the course of the storm. I wish we could, but we can mitigate the effects of the storm by preparing the citizens, preparing the county, and all the county services.
So we do know that when we talk about this all the time, everyone should have a disaster kit in their home. They should have water, a gallon per person per day.
Right.
For each person in your family. Also for any pets, make sure you get your medications. If you have prescription medications, get those now. Get ready, have non-perishable foods. Now, but one thing, since you did bring up the shelter, I know with Isabel, the problem was the storm surge in South County, and a lot of people couldn't stay in their homes. If there's an evacuation or if there's a similar circumstance this time, how will you notify those people that they have to evacuate and that the shelter is open?
Sure. We have a new system that we just purchased with Annapolis City called Code Red, and it's an emergency notification system, or for lack of a better term, a reverse 911. So if we're going to recommend evacuation to the shoreline communities, we'll put that out probably to the whole county, but specifically to the shoreline communities that we're recommending an evacuation. In addition to that, we'll put out press releases, and the newspapers, the local TV stations will carry that. In the event that people do decide to evacuate, we'll try to provide as much transportation as we can. We have the police department coordinating that right now. And all we can do is recommend. We can't order an evacuation. The governor can order the evacuation, but I don't know that he necessarily will. I think during Isabel they did not mandate an evacuation, and a lot of people, they take pride in their property and they've lived there for a long time. But in these cases they need to take the safety of themselves, their family into account above their property. I mean, I know the property is their livelihood, but you want your family and pets included to be safe and not get injured due to
And Annapolis, if that shelter is open, it is a pet-friendly shelter, correct?
It is, yes.
People can bring them, because a lot of times they don't want to leave their pets behind, and that they won't go to a shelter if they can't take their pet with them.
Right, and we're talking about traditional pets here. If someone has a pet alligator, we're not going to take that, obviously.
Well, Tracie, I think the main thing of that interview, and this is something that the county's been getting prepared for at least a week now, ever since we started hearing the reports that it was a possibility, and now it looks like it's almost a definite here on Friday evening.
Yep.
But I think the big thing is folks need to be ready for this one.
Yeah.
They need to make sure it's Friday night. If you don't have everything you need, go out Saturday, get your flashlights, get your water, get your batteries, make sure if you have a generator, you have gas, and that you're prepared. You need to prepare yourself for a good 2 to 3 days of not having electricity, because that's a strong possibility with this storm.
Well, and we saw that with Isabel. Some people went with as long as 10 days without electricity.
Right.
And make sure you don't forget about your pets, or if you have special medications, you want to go get your medications now. If you have a baby that needs diapers or formula, you want to make sure you have all that on hand, as well as the water and non-perishables. And I guess one thing, we're going to talk later in the show to Carl Lee about lessons learned from Isabel. And one thing I would say, and you and I also talked about it, don't stock up that freezer or refrigerator just in the event that you do lose your electricity. You want to make sure you have non-perishable, high protein, high fiber snacks and food to eat, just in case, because then you have to deal with all the spoiled food, and that's not good.
That's not a good thing.
And make sure you operate those generators by the manufacturer's instructions, not in the house or in a garage, outside, and do not open the window.
Absolutely. A lot of good tips to come into play. Folks, also, one important thing to think about, Tracie, is that if you have a definite emergency, if there's something major has happened, somebody's life is in danger, call 911.
Right.
Call 911. But if there are other issues that you have out there, flooded streets, problems with trees down, things that are emergencies, but they're not emergencies that you typically call the police and fire department for. There's one central number in Anne Arundel County that you'll be able to use this weekend, and that's 410-222-0600. And that's an important number, and we'll put it up on the screen quite a bit, because that's where we want folks to call. That's our Emergency Operations Center, and as you saw with the interview with Captain Hodge, the Emergency Operations Center right now is quiet, but as of Saturday, it's going to be ramped up, and there will be people in there to take your calls. And it's important to know that when you call into that number, these folks are going to be able to put you in touch with the correct folks, whether it's Public Works, whether it's Recreation and Parks, if you need transportation for a dialysis patient or medical issues. I mean, this is a one-stop number. That 410-222-0600. It's really important that folks in the county remember that number and use that number this weekend if you need it.
Right. Very good tips. And we'll have more tips to come, I know, as we get further into the show. And moving on, this week the Anne Arundel County Fire Department responded to 1,516 calls for service. This included more than 1,011 emergency medical calls and 162 fire calls. A serious accident this week snarled rush hour traffic on a South County highway, and firefighters worked to extinguish an early morning blaze in a North County business park. With me now to tell us more about these incidents is Division Chief Michael Cox from the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. Chief?
The first incident occurred just before 6 p.m. on Thursday, August 18, 2011, when Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a reported motor vehicle collision in the area of Route 2 and Solitude Drive in the Lothian area of Anne Arundel County. The first unit to arrive on the scene reported a two-car front impact collision with entrapment and fire. One vehicle, a passenger van, burst into flames, and witnesses at the scene had to remove an unconscious occupant from the burning vehicle. The patients, a male estimated to be in his mid to late 50s and a female who is estimated to be in her mid to late 40s, both suffered fatal injuries as a result of the incident and were pronounced dead at the scene by rescue personnel. Traffic on Route 2 was delayed more than an hour as a result of the incident. In a second incident, Anne Arundel County firefighters were summoned to a Linthicum business park around 5:35 a.m. on Tuesday, August 23, 2011, for a reported water flow alarm. The first arriving units found water flowing from the building's sprinkler system. A closer investigation by these crews revealed that heavy smoke and fire conditions inside the one-story complex. At that time, additional resources were requested and an interior fire attack was initiated by the first arriving crews. In all, it took more than 50 firefighters from Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and BWI Airport Fire and Rescue about 40 minutes to bring the two-alarm incident under control. The fire, which originated on the interior of the vacant building, caused an estimated $5,000 in damages. The exact cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Thank you, Chief. County fire investigators and code enforcement officials advised that the fire originated in a roll-off dumpster that was illegally placed inside the vacant space.
Our community spotlight shines brightly this week on Linthicum and Glen Burnie. First, we'll go out to Glen Burnie to find out about Family Fun Day. Mark Chang.
Thanks. I'm over here on this beautiful August day on Furnace Branch Road over at the Abundant Life Church grounds. And with me today I have Liz Wagner, who is the Community Outreach Consultant for the church, and also Mr. Bill Reams, who is the Community Outreach Director. And they have a great event coming up this Saturday, August 27th, and it's the Super Saturday Kids Carnival. And first of all, I'd like to start off with you, Liz. Tell us about this carnival.
This carnival has been going on for a while in our community. Purposefully, we do it because it's free. Everything we provide to the community, the food, the games, the rides, we have community connections inside, putt-putt golf, all of it is free. One and all come, enjoy it. They'll have a blast. We have a few prizes, but the big attractions really get the kids going. So we invite you to come. It's from 11 to 2. Right here on the church grounds. We do provide valet parking, so you want to take advantage of that. It is a busy day, and we have over 200 volunteers possibly, and we usually have about 1,400 to 1,500 people in attendance.
Wow, that's awesome. And what is the address here?
The address is 7305 East Furnace Branch Road. That's Glen Burnie 21060.
Great, and right near it looks like Point Pleasant Road.
It is, that is correct, in Margate, between Margate and Point Pleasant.
Great, thanks, Liz. And Liz, you got a really cool shirt. Can we see the back of that?
Absolutely. Look at that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that's a really cool shirt. Well, Liz, it's always great to see you out in community. I know you work very hard for your community and our community, and great to see you out here all the time. And now I'd like to jump over to Bill. Bill, great for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know you, as a director of community outreach, I'm sure you're hopping. And anytime in our role over at the Office of Community Constituent Services, we always see your team out in force. either doing beautification projects or different social service projects out there. Could you tell the folks out there who are not familiar with Abundant Life Church and your team what other projects you all do and how people can get involved?
Well, we do a monthly Serve Fest, we call it, where we go out into the community and do just general acts of kindness. We give away water. We'll do little, like you say, beautification projects, stuff like that. So we do that once a month. The next big event we have is called Make a Difference Day, where it's our National Day of Doing Good, where we're going to do, we've got some really cool things going on. We got Extreme Makeover going to happen in one of the schools. I can't tell you because it's a secret, so it's going to be a big surprise. We're going to be doing some beautifications in some of the other schools as far as landscaping and that type of thing. And we have like just a bunch of things that's going to happen on that day. So that's the two big things we got coming up after the Kids Carnival.
Great. And for more information for the folks out there, how can they get in touch with church or you?
Well, you can go to our website, which is www.abundantlifechurch.us, or you can reach us at our phone, which is 410-761-9075.
Okay, great. Do you have an email address?
Yes. bream at abundantlifechurch.us.
Okay, great. Well, I'm sure if they check out the website, they'll be able to see all the information on there. Okay, great. Well, again, it was great having both of you on the show, and keep up the great work, and thank you for all that you do in our community. And you heard it, folks. It's going to be a great time over on Saturday, August 27th, coming up real soon. And also, if you can't make the event, but you also want to get involved with this great team of folks out here, please visit the website or contact them. And back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Mark. Later in the broadcast, Mark will be joining us from Linthicum to discuss another upcoming community event.
And there's more Week in Review to come. Take a look at the community calendar for what is happening around the county. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And welcome back, folks. Well, as you'll remember, 8 years ago, another storm by the name of Isabel paid a visit to us here in Anne Arundel County in the Mid-Atlantic region. Isabel caused a significant amount of damage and took days for us to recover from that storm. Joining us now is a planner who was around when Isabel hit our area, Carl Lee. Carl, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
And I think what we want to get into here with Isabel is just a little bit of background on that storm and how that storm is slightly different than the storm that's projected to come here very soon.
Well, again, this is perfect timing because they are somewhat similar, yet they're a little different. Isabel, of course, came to us in 2003, about mid-September, and the track for that storm was more of a direct out from the ocean, inbound, and striking North Carolina, whereas the current one, and as Irene, it will track up. It's projected to come on up the coast, hugging closer to the shore. And that makes a big difference because a lot of the impact from Isabel was it came onto the shore in North Carolina at full strength, a Category 2, which puts it somewhere around that 110 mile per hour range for wind speed. And from there it kind of bit and took a westwardly track up through the state, which really presented the strongest side of the storm, which is that right side of the storm, really bore down on the counties in Maryland and specifically through Anne Arundel as it spun through. If a storm tracks through, what you really want to do is keep it to your right-hand side because that front leading edge is more of the whip, and the real power is in that back side where it becomes very diffused and drops a lot of different water. So with any luck, Isabel present maybe a little bit more problems than what we could encounter and did encounter with Irene, but that's yet to be seen. But when it came ashore and took that westwardly track, it definitely dumped a lot of water into the already flooded Bay Area, and it really created a really bad storm surge. I think it was projected to be 7.2 feet of storm surge that went up with that. And of course with that there's no way really to get out because there's not time enough, the water is surging forward and there's not time for the water to empty out, and that's how that really accumulates. And that really caused some problems for the city of Annapolis because they had to evacuate 300 people from their area just based on that storm surge. And of course it presents a lot of other different issues. With that also is that that wind is still coming to us as a tropical storm as it did come, because it was down class. It was still pushing winds upwards of 75 miles an hour. And again, dumping some rain on top of that. So we had a lot of damage to our area. I think when the final tally was done, we had $11.9 million worth of damage done within the county itself that was reported for FEMA. And it took a really long time for us to recover from that. So it was very important to get the right resources on it and get it handled as quickly as possible. But to give it any sense, it took a long time, and part of it's because you're dealing, again, with governments and you have to go through it. But again, we just weren't used to a storm of that size. So some of that was even being handled up to 2008 when we were closing out the last few remnants of Isabel. Unfortunately, Isabel, again, was a strong storm, and it had an impact on the county in that we had 2 motor vehicle related fatalities based on specifically the causes of the storm and the aftermath of the storm. But we also had 3 very severe carbon monoxide poisonings, which were due to someone basically using a generator in their home and not, again, being familiar with how to do that, and it venting into the house instead of outside. So those were unfortunate occurrences, but hopefully by people preparing, and I know Captain Hodge spoke earlier on the different ways for people to prepare, is a lot of this really goes into pre-planning, and that's what it's all about. And with Isabel, I think we've got a lot of those different lessons learned from that, and it was really important that we heed them and go from there. I know when Isabel hit, at that time our EOC was located down in the fire department, and since that time, of course, we've opened, as you saw in that last footage, the EOC, which is definitely a state-of-the-art facility. And I've seen a lot of the different EOCs in the Baltimore metro area, and I gotta still say that that's probably one of the better ones that are out there. It's equipped efficiently. People are trained in that facility. They're trained right where they'll be functioning, and that made, I think, a really big difference in the storms I've seen since Isabel as well, and hopefully panned out well in this one.
Well, one thing, and I was around for Isabel. I was with DPW, and like you said, we really weren't prepared for a storm of that magnitude, and we were learning as we were going, because there was a lot of tree debris, a lot of storm debris, in addition to there were extended power outages, so people were losing food was spoiling, they were trying to get rid of all this stuff. And one thing that DPW did at the time was keep the landfills and the convenience centers opened extended hours for people to drop off their debris or whatever damaged appliance that they had. The other thing they did, and maybe you can talk about it because I think that you worked with the planning, was the Dale plan, which is the debris management plan that Public Works put into place after Isabel. So should Irene cause a lot of tree debris, we're actually very prepared for this.
Yes, that Dale plan is the debris assistance localized event kind of thing, and it has the same application across the board for any type of event. And it really it gets the county to where the county can actually go right after the event occurs and get out there and look in the areas and identify certain areas where you have a lot of downed trees. And to get those roadways open quickly, we have a plan in place now where they can go ahead and put different kind of dumpsters in certain locations, and the people can go ahead and clear their roadways and clear their different areas, get it in under a very finite schedule for them to have that there. It's well posted, and then they remove that debris and take care of it. It's actually a really good plan, and I know they've activated it a couple times since it was written. And again, it's like when you learn from these prior experiences and prior events. It's like we opened. It's really important to open that the shelters that we open are companion animal, savvy, and that they can open these places and people feel free to bring their pets. Because one thing we learned with Isabel, and it was really reinforced in Katrina, is that people view their pets as family, and they're not going to leave them behind. Again, using the plan, and also with federal assistance, we have trailer now within the county that makes sure that when we open a shelter, it can be pet friendly. and the people should feel welcome to bring their pets there.
And they should also bring food and toys and medicines for their pets as well.
Absolutely.
Leashes, they do have to
We
be
don't
on
supply
leash.
kitten chow.
Right,
Sorry.
right. So
That's
just
right.
like you would
Right.
bring for yourself your personal items and your medicines and any snacks and food.
Absolutely. But it's a safe haven for them to bring their pets.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, Carl, we talked about, Isabel, and you talked about the track of Isabel, how it was more of a western track, how it came into land. And this one, of course, Irene, all the forecast models show it going along the coast. And we talked about the amount of rain. I guess it's something we were talking about off camera, 2 to 4 inches of rain, maybe not even quite 4 inches from Isabel. This one seems like we're going to get a lot more rain, and it seems like the winds, at least the projections that I've seen so far, the winds are going to be stronger. What type of new challenges is that going to prevent, and are we ready here in the county for that?
Well, I think you'll still get the storm surge that they got, and now in addition to that, you're going to have a whole lot more rain falling on the ground, and it's going to be more centralized in location as far as if it follows its true track and comes in just to the other side of Ocean City. You're still going to see a lot more activity as far as rainfall there because, again, the center of the storm is so much closer to Anne Arundel County as it was with Isabel, because I mean it actually tracked and got up close to Cumberland when it left the state.
Right.
This is going to be more severe for us as far as rainfall, and of course with that comes the surge, so that could definitely cause a bigger issue for us to have. I know, and when you consider Anne Arundel County's got 500 miles of shoreline.
Yep.
It definitely compounds the problem too. It's a pretty unique county, and that kind of square foot area over the entire county, that many miles, it's got to be one of the best in the state as far as having the most in the state.
It is.
So.
Talbot County has a little bit more,
that
but
was
they
the only
don't
one
have.
that made me leery,
But they don't have our
Talbot,
population.
yes.
So.
That's right.
Yes, they don't.
Well, Carl, thanks for coming on and joining us. I know you've got a big weekend ahead of you. You got a lot of things going on. The storm's going to be on everybody's mind out there. So thanks for taking the time and talking to the citizens of the county, and hopefully giving you folks out there a little words of wisdom, a little historical lesson on Isabel, a little bit of preparedness. The bottom line in the segment that we've done here throughout the first portion of this show is be prepared. It looks like right now that storm track is online to create problems for us Saturday into Sunday. Be prepared. Don't wait till the last minute. Make sure that you've taken care of all your needs. We're going to post up here after this interview some important contact numbers, the Office of Emergency Management, numbers for potential shelters that could be opening up, ways that you can help your family stay safe during this storm. So folks, we hope that we don't get the worst, but if we do, let's make sure we're prepared for it. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back with more Week in Review after these messages. Welcome back. Well, folks, believe it or not, there are other things going on that are unrelated to Mother Nature. This week, County Executive John Leopold issued a historic 16 line-item vetoes of controversial zoning changes that had South County residents up in arms. The vetoes are part of a comprehensive review of zoning designations that happen every 10 years. It's a chance for property owners to seek permission, allowing them to increase density or commercialize their parcels. Among the many requests denied by the county executive are plans to put a car dealership on Route 2 in Edgewater near the Edgewater Beach community, and an allowance to convert a Lothian trailer park into townhome zoning. County Executive Leopold said he was drawing a line in the sand at Route 214 as the southern boundary for commercial growth. Keeping South County rural is a promise I will not break. The council approved changes that are counter to sound planning principles, said Mr. Leopold. Now the lobbying effort is underway to sustain the executive's vetoes. A vote of 5 or more council members can override the vetoes and set the proposed zoning changes in law. Citizens groups, including the Growth Action Network, are flooding the phones and emails with requests for councilmen to maintain the rural character of South County.
Mary Felter talked with Mary Chaput about the upcoming Caregiver Wellness Day. Mary.
Thank you. Today my guest is Mary Chaput, who's the Director of the National Family Caregiver Support Program, as well as the Respite Program at the Department of Aging and Disabilities. I asked her to come to the program today because she is planning a Caregivers Wellness Day in September. We wanted to let the public know all about it. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here.
This is an opportunity coming up, and who should attend this 10th annual Caregivers Wellness Day?
Mary, anyone who is taking care of a family member, whether it's an elderly person or whether it's a child, anyone who is taking care of a neighbor, a spouse, anyone that they're giving caregiving for that they're not being paid for. This is for the unpaid, non-professional caregiver.
And it's free?
It's a free event. We ask people to register in advance so that we can make sure we have enough materials and enough seating for everyone. But it's a free event, and we're very excited to be able to provide this for the caregivers, to give them a chance to have a day free of stress and caregiving.
And how do you define what a caregiver is?
Well, again, it's that unpaid non-professional who is caring for a family member, most generally, although sometimes we get folks who are caring for a neighbor or for a friend. So it's a very wide encompassing definition.
It usually means that other person is not able to care for themselves at all.
Exactly, and it can be just some minor assistance. It may be that you help your mom by taking her to doctor's appointments or to the grocery store, or it can go all the way to someone who's providing 24/7 care.
And where and when is this conference going to be held? Or not the conference, the Wellness,
Wellness Day. That's
yes.
right. We get confused sometimes with this. The Wellness Day will be held on Saturday, September 17th at the Annapolis Senior Center, which is 119 South Villa Avenue, right off of West Street in Annapolis. And it's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Participants will have the opportunity to go to what sort of things at the day?
We have a lot of workshops planned for the participants. They're going to start off with an opening session, and Anne Shums, who is a health and wellness instructor, will be talking to us and getting us energized and how to turn that negative energy that we have when we're just overwhelmed, turn it around into a positive energy to help us get through the day. And then folks will have a chance to attend one of 3 breakout sessions in the morning. And those breakout sessions run from Mary Fridley, who is going to be talking about the caregiver's identity, because sometimes caregivers feel like they themselves are changing as the tasks that they're taking on become more difficult. We're also going to have, and I have to look at my little sheet here, Anne Shums is going to come back and she's going to do a breakout session for us also. And again, she's going to be talking about how to turn that stress around and not let the stress control us as we go through the day.
Yeah, is my stress the boss of me kind of attitude.
Exactly. And then our other session in the morning is going to be facilitated by Ann Caldwell. And Ann is a nutritionist, and she works at Anne Arundel Medical Center's Wellness Center. And Ann's going to be talking about nutrition for the caregiver. So again, we're placing our emphasis this day on caregivers taking care of themselves.
Following the breakout session, you're going to have a lunch and some entertainment?
That's correct. We're going to have a very nice buffet lunch served. And the entertainment, we're bringing back Jerry Roman, and anyone who has come to our Wellness Day before will remember Jerry because he's been with us now for a number of years. And we bring him back because people seem to really enjoy his piano playing during the lunch period. And he plays some nice relaxing music, but he also gets folks having some fun with some little games and trivia activities that he'll be doing.
Well, in the afternoon we have those other 3 sessions, and it looks like there are going to be some exercise, music, or yoga, so you're going to continue the relaxation.
Exactly, and it's again taking care of themselves. And so we have Carolyn Sonnen, who is a music therapist, and she's going to be talking about how to use music. So folks who enjoy listening to music, whether it's, musics from the 40s and 50s or musics from, this current period, how can you use that music to help you relax? We also have a physical therapist coming, and his name is Brian Gallagher, and he's going to be doing some important exercises on flexibility and balance. And I know a lot of us get a little concerned as time goes along, particularly on balance, and we don't want to fall. So we want to make sure that somebody's there showing us how to maintain our balance. And then
with the yoga one is coming
exactly.
up. That's one of my favorites.
Valerie Weatherd is a yoga instructor, and Valerie is coming back and repeating something that she's done for us in the past because, again, it was so popular. So she's going to be presenting Relax and Renew.
And how will you end the day? Mary Fridley coming back?
That's exactly right. Mary Fridley is going to close the day, and Mary's going to be talking about the gifts of caregiving. And I know some of our folks might be kind of rolling their eyes as I say that, but what we find out is when people finish their caregiving journey, they often come back and tell us what things they learned from that and how grateful they are to have that experience. So Mary's going to be kind of pointing some of those things out that people can maybe recognize as they go along the journey.
So this sounds like a great way to de-stress. What do people do to register for this?
They can register online, www.aacounty.org/aging, or they can give us a call at 410-222-4464, extension 3043.
If I want to come to this, but I am a caregiver and I have someone I'm taking care of, I'm going to need some respite care. What do we do about that?
Well, we've thought about that, and we have two solutions for you. If your loved one can leave the home, Active Day Center in Pasadena and Active Day Center in Annapolis are providing free out-of-home care.
Oh my goodness.
But you do need to register by September 12th. So the phone number for Active Day in Pasadena is 410-255-2879, and Active Day in Annapolis is 410-573-9100. Now, if your loved one isn't able to leave home, when you register, you want to let us know that you need in-home care. And again, we need to know that by September 12th so that we can contract with an agency to send someone out so that you can get out of the house that day.
That's really remarkable and going to certainly help families a great deal.
So.
I know you have some other sponsors besides Active Day. Did you want to mention those?
We're very happy to have Heritage Harbor Health and Rehabilitation Center joining us this year. So they're our main sponsor this year, and we also have both Active Day and Sandy Spring Bank are partnering with us on this event.
Well, I know that you can't endorse any particular business, but we're very grateful for that because it makes it possible for you to put on this event without any charge.
That's correct.
Including for the food. I mean, that's just remarkable.
It's a great day.
And I think we got the registration. This is a good time for caregivers to take a little bit of care for themselves, correct?
It is, and we've heard from people who have come to this in the past that not only did they enjoy the day and they had a good time and they made friends, but they were able to take home some of the things they learned from de-stressing or from nutrition and make use of it to help take care of themselves at home.
Well, let's repeat the date that this is happening so people can plan ahead.
Okay, it's September 17th. That's a Saturday. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I do want to put a little reminder here too, Mary, that if folks get there before 9:30 to register, they have a chance to win that day some great alternative therapy sessions. So we're going to have some massage therapists there. We're going to have hand massage, acupuncture, and healing touch. So if they get there before 9:30, they have a chance to win one of those sessions.
What a nice reason to get there early. Well, thank you very much for coming on the program today and letting people know about the 10th Annual Caregiving Wellness Day.
Thank you for having me.
This is Mary Felter, spokesperson for the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities, and we've been talking on Week on Review about the Caregiver Wellness Day. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Mary. Again, Caregiver Wellness Day is set for September 17th in Annapolis.
In this week's Police Beat, Justin Mulcahy joins us to talk about an armed robbery that occurred in West County. Justin.
Thanks, Eric. When officers arrived on scene, they learned that 4 juvenile victims were sitting on the front porch when 2 male suspects approached them and demanded money and property. 3 of the victims ran into the home and the suspects subsequently followed. One suspect forced a victim onto the sofa where he displayed a knife and announced a robbery. And that's while the second suspect ordered the other victims to the basement and implied that he was armed with a firearm. Now, during the incident, the suspects took money from one of the victims before fleeing the residence. Several officers canvassed the area and actually located the suspects nearby walking. This was a short time later. They were later positively identified as being responsible for that robbery. Both suspects were arrested and charged with burglary, robbery, assault, also related charges. The first suspect is Vincent Joseph Adiyeye, age 16, of 528 Meadow Mist Way in Odenton. He was charged as an adult. The second suspect was 20-year-old Isaac Abiola Alugbemi, also of 528 Meadow Mist Way in Odenton, Maryland. We're going to move on now to our second incident. That one took place on August 20th, about 9:22 in the evening. And that's when officers from the Northern District responded to the Citgo gas station located in the 700 block of Hammonds Ferry Road in Linthicum. The call came out as an armed robbery of the business. When officers arrived on scene, they spoke with the store clerk, who indicated that a male suspect entered the store and requested to use the restroom initially. The clerk subsequently retrieved the key to the restroom. That's when the suspect displayed a handgun and announced a robbery. The clerk complied with the demands, turned over money to the suspect, who fled the scene in what was described as an older model, full-size brown pickup truck. Several officers searched the vicinity but were unable to locate the suspect, who's being described in this case as a white male about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He was unshaven with dirty blonde hair, last seen wearing a t-shirt and blue jeans. Folks, as always, if you have any information on the crimes or suspects mentioned on the show, don't hesitate to call, email, or text your tip to Metro Crime Stoppers Hotline. It's available 24 hours a day, toll-free at 1-866-7-LOCKUP, or you could text message MCS plus your message to crimes at 274-637. Third option, visit the website, www.metrocrimestoppers.net. Remember, phone calls are not recorded and callers remain anonymous. You might be eligible for a cash reward of up to $2,000. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Justin. Hopefully someone will come forward from the public with information on that suspect.
Earlier in the show, Mark Chang was in Glen Burnie, and now he's made his way to Linthicum to talk with organizers of an upcoming carnival. What's happening there, Mark?
Thanks again. I'm over here at the St. John's Field on the corner of Maple Road and Hammonds Ferry Road in Linthicum. And with me today I have Sandy Hartzell and also Brenda Schwab. We talk about the upcoming annual Linthicum Fair. First of all, I'd like to start with you, Sandy. Sandy, could you tell us about the Linthicum Fair?
Yes, Mark. The fair is about 23 years old. I think we're on our 23rd year. And it was started by Pastor Gilroy, who was our pastor at the time, as a way to bring the community churches together, have some fun, get the families together to have a big picnic, and also help raise some money for various organizations in the church. Over the years, other churches have joined in, as well as other nonprofits, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts. We've had the Lions Club, the Chambers of Commerce, the Women's Club. They've all come together as nonprofits, and they do things like run games, sell lots of good food, from hamburgers, hot dogs, on down to pit beef, lemon sticks, popcorn, pizza. They run the gamut of all the kinds of good food that we have here on the field, and all kinds of games for the kids. And in the process, what they're doing is they're helping us raise money for Neon. And this year we've added Hope, which is He Opens Paths for Everyone, as partners with us as to we help support them. Each of the vendors donates a portion of their profits to these organizations in exchange for being able to come here and raise money for their organizations. So we are, in actuality, a Linthicum community fair that brings the community together, but we're also helping our neighboring organizations in their help to help the less fortunate in our area as well.
Great. Thanks for all the information, Sandy. And for Sandy, for folks out there who want to be part of the fair or to come out with the family, how can they get more information?
You can give me a call. My phone number is 410-456-3019, or you can send me an email to sehartzell, that's HARTZELL, @verizon.net.
Important question, so folks can start marking their calendars now. What day is the event and what time?
The fair is Saturday, September the 24th. The fair times are 10 to 3. But we have a parade that starts up at Lindale Middle School at 9 o'clock, makes its way down Hammonds Ferry Road and reaches the fairgrounds about 9:30. And it has usually 50-some units in it with bands, fire trucks, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, all kinds of various organizations with floats. And our theme this year, because of the 10th anniversary of 9/11, is Lest We Forget. So we're going to have a patriotic theme to the fair this year and celebrate and remember 9/11.
Sandy, thanks so much for organizing this fair and for all that you do in the Linthicum community. Really appreciate it. Now I'd like to jump over to you, Brenda. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. And you're the chairwoman of the craft portion of the fair?
Yes, the crafters. We have between 35 and 40 crafters every year. It's not a craft show by itself, but as part of the fair, the crafters pay a fee to have a booth here. They do not contribute any of their profit, but they do pay a fee. And we have crafters that come from as far away as Pennsylvania. We have a number of crafters that are local. At least 3/4 of our crafters come from Brooklyn Park, Glen Burnie, and Linthicum. And the special thing about this fair is all of the items are handmade. We have no pre-bought or just a few things added to them. Every item is handmade, and we have a great variety. We have crocheted items, we have blankets, we have window screens that have been painted. We have pen and ink drawings of local buildings, and we have a gentleman who does oil paintings. We have all kinds of crafts that are available, and we are always looking for new vendors. So if anyone would like to be a crafter, they can call Sandy's number and leave their information there, or they can email me at bschwab@aol.com, and it's BSCHWAAB.
Great, Brenda. Thanks a lot. I know in the past I've stopped by your booth and seen very, very nice crafts, and look forward to coming by again to see your booth and then also the other booths that will be here.
Thanks again, Mark. We hope everyone can make it out to both the Glen Burnie and Linthicum events.
That's not all, though. It's also time to get ready for fall and winter sports. Carolyn Ryan is in the Recreation and Park Spotlight to talk about their fall guide to activities. Carolyn.
Thanks. I'm Carolyn Ryan, and this is Wendy Scarborough, and we're here at the Recreation and Parks headquarters to tell you a little bit about the new program guide, our new fall and winter program guide. And if you're familiar with the program guide, you know that it is just a wealth of information. And if you're not familiar with our program guide, we're going to give you some information about it. This is what it looks like. This is our new fall and winter 2011 program guide, and it is filled with information about all of our facilities, our regional parks, some of our smaller parks. There's information about our swim centers, our recreation centers, and our hundreds of programs and opportunities for you to get involved. We have programs for anything from sports to fitness to arts and crafts and everything in between. All ages, programs for seniors, all the way down to young children, adaptive programs, and everything in between.
And we're very excited this year. In an effort to go a little bit green, what we have done is we have actually combined our fall and winter programs so you can do a lot better planning for your seasons. We're very excited also with the number of programs that we have and the fact that now our online registration is up and running. You're able to go online to register. You may also register at our North County, South County rec centers, as well as both of our aquatic centers. And here at 1 Harry S. Truman Parkway, you're able to walk in and do your registration and walk out with a program that suits your needs.
And because we've combined the program guides, we also have a lot of information online as well. So you can go to www.aacounty.org/recparks. You get more information about our programs, more information about registering. You can register online.
You can also call our office here if you have questions about the guide or you have questions about how to register online at 410-222-7313. And we always have smiling faces in here ready to help you.
Thanks. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Carolyn.
All right, you're ready, right? You ready for the storm?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I tell you, my kids are really looking forward to it. It's kind of interesting that they don't know what hurricanes are. They're 5 and 3, but they
and they're not afraid. It doesn't.
They're
sound
not
like.
afraid. They're ready for this. They think that we're gonna have a big camp out on the living room sofa and the floor. I guess it's gonna be fun. Yeah. But they're even telling me what they need. They need their flashlights. They need to make sure we've got enough water to drink, and the cats have enough water to drink.
Good.
So they're kind of getting in on this preparedness thing. So, folks, if 5-year-olds and 3-year-olds can do this, so can you.
Yeah, do it.
Get ready
now. Yep, definitely get ready. I'm ready. I'll be in the EOC, taking my shift in the EOC. So hopefully everything will be good for us. We have a generator, so if the power goes out, we'll still have power.
Yep, and remember that number, 410-222-0600. We're going to say it a lot. We've said it a lot.
Yeah,
on the
we
show.
have
We're
said
gonna
it a
say
lot.
it some more, because that's your one stop. I mean, don't call around and get a number for this and get a number for that. Call that number. We have folks here that'll answer that phone, and you know, we're here to help. We're here to assist.
And any questions, and I know that we talked about it earlier in the show, if anybody has any questions about what they need to have in their emergency kit, definitely go on the Office of Emergency Management's webpage. They have a list there. You can also go to ready.gov. There's also a list there of what to do. I think DNR has a very good website for how to secure your watercraft if you have a boat and you don't want to lose it in a storm surge. So lots of important things to do, and you really have to get prepared, and hopefully it won't be so bad. But as long as we're prepared, then we're ready for anything.
If you're prepared, nothing ever happens, right?
Right. Yeah, that's usually the way it works for me.
I don't know if we get that lucky this weekend, Tracie.
Yeah, well.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode online anytime at www.aacounty.org. Archive episodes are always available at blip.tv and YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around your county. We'll see you next time.